Just as I was getting ready to leave, this guy walks out. He's just gonna hang out in the trail. What is up, everybody? I'm here at Cattail Marsh in Beaumont, Texas, and we're going to be doing the 5-mile hike that goes around the marsh and see what kind of wildlife and stuff we can see this morning. I've been out here a couple times with my kids, mostly just to do the boardwalk and check out some alligators. We haven't done the 5-mile hike before, so I'm checking it out before I bring them out here just to see if it's something they would like. And thought I'd bring you guys along for the first ever video to just check out things that Southeast Texas and other outdoor experiences have to offer. So I'm actually out here on the boardwalk here at Cattail Marsh, and I decided to check out the boardwalk and the visitor center first before I came out on what I believe is called the Blue Heron Trail, which is roughly 5 miles long. And as I was coming out on the boardwalk, an older couple stopped me and they were like, "Hey, did you see the alligator?" And I was like, "No, I didn't." And I had literally just walked past it. It was in the ditch and all you could see was its head sticking out in the grass. So they were pointing out the alligator to me, which was cool, but I passed within like 4 feet of that thing and never saw it. So that's why you got to be careful when you're out here, especially if it's like nesting season or something like that. You want to be just aware of your surroundings so that you don't accidentally step on one of these things. But we're out here on the boardwalk right now. I'm going to show you guys around. If you look, they have a nice little viewing platform here. I'll get my camera situated. Normally every time I've been out here you can see some gators swimming around in the water. I don't see any this morning. But we did have a little bit of a cool front come in, so that's kind of to be expected. They're probably gonna wait till it warms up a bit. But yeah, so we're gonna get started on this hike. From here you can come out and you can check out all the different bird species and stuff that they have. It's a really cool place just to kind of chill and take a minute to reflect. It's nice and quiet out here most of the time. They do have some yoga classes, I think, like during the summer and springs. So yeah, just a pretty cool little area here. We're about to go check out the trail. So I'm about a quarter mile in, and it's a pretty easygoing trail because it's Southeast Texas, so everything's flat. But the trail is also just a gravel path, which you can see, and it goes around the perimeter of the marsh. It's roughly 8:30 on a Sunday. I've seen several different people out here. We got runners, we've got people just taking walks like I am, people bird watching. I don't know anything about bird watching, but there are tons of birds out here and lots of wildlife. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, this is definitely the place to go. This is like the second dead snake I've seen on the path. And I can guarantee you that if I brought my daughter out here, she'd already be like, no, we need to go home. She's not about snakes. She's not about wildlife in general if it has access to her. So So we are right at about 3/4 of a mile, and they have a little seating area for you to just sit and observe the marsh. Let's see. You hear a lot of wildlife. You can hear a lot of movement in the marsh. But besides birds and the dead snakes on the trail, I really haven't seen a lot other than that alligator right at the beginning. So if you're not familiar with Southeast Texas, it's September, and that usually means it's boiling hot. So this morning when I got up and it was a nice 70 degrees, I decided to go ahead and do this hike because it's not going to get any nicer than this until winter, essentially. But there's a nice breeze today. It is very open, and the trail is nice. It's not strenuous at all, so it's pretty accessible to a lot of people. And like I said, you could do bikes on here. You could walk. You could, if you even have like some kind of mobility assistance, you'd be able to do that out here. It's a nice trail, and it's a good one to take kids out and like do bird watching and things like that. phone can zoom a little better than my camera can. Let's see if we can get a close-up of this guy hanging out on the bank. So that's our second gator of the day. He's just chilling there. It's kind of overcast. Like I said, it's not a cool front to most people, but for us here in Texas, it's definitely cooler. A lot of people are out taking advantage of the nicer weather. But we're about to go take a break up there. We're about mile 2, and there's a bench up there, so we're going to have a snack and some water. And let this dude go back to what he was doing. Definitely a preferable distance than the first alligator we ran into. But he's still a cool looking dude. We're at mile 2.3. I've been walking for about an hour, but we've been doing side quests and everything like that just to see the bayou and stuff as we pass by. Seen some gators, heard some fish jump. You probably can't see it on the camera, but right over that direction, there's actually another gator floating around me in the bayou. And if you look directly behind me is the boardwalk that we started at. You can see it across the marsh over there. So we've just been enjoying the morning. You know, it's been great weather, listening to audiobook, currently the third book of the Red Rising series that I'm rereading this summer. And we're just having a great time out here. You know, it's not every day in September in Texas that you get a nice 70-degree day, so we're taking advantage of that. It is breezy, and so that helps as well. Nice cool breeze every once in a while when you start getting hot. So taking a water break, and then we're gonna hit the trail here in just a few minutes. Part of the reason why I decided to start recording this is in January I started kind of a health journey to get in shape. I had let myself go pretty bad with work stress and things like that, and one of the ways that I found to kind of cope with that stress was to just get outside and go do things that are like free and don't cost me a lot of money. And so doing things like this hike and fishing and just being outside really helps me take my mind off the pressures at work, especially since I work in education and currently what everything's going on in Texas education specifically. It's just a really stressful time. And when I would watch YouTube and stuff like that to kind of see what was local to me, I noticed that there weren't a lot of content creators making reviews of things in Southeast Texas. Now, there are a lot of fishing channels in Southeast Texas, but there's not a lot of female representation or people just exploring the outdoors and looking at what there is to do here locally. So Cattail Marsh is actually pretty much in my backyard. I only live about 15 minutes from here, and we've been out here, like I said, to the boardwalk a couple times when I want to play around with photography and things like that. But we had never done the trails. So when I woke up this morning and let the dogs out and we're like, hey, it feels pretty nice outside today, especially compared to yesterday, I decided today was the day that I was going to check out this trail. It, you know, gets in my steps for the day. Also lets me see some wildlife, get some pictures, and take some video. And so I decided this would be my inaugural video, because there's not a lot of people out here this morning, so I don't have to feel self-conscious about talking to myself in a camera. Even though I do, even though I'm completely by myself. So, like I said, just popped in my audiobook, and we've been walking right now. Well, my watch has moved, but I think we're about 2.5 miles, making pretty good time. And yeah, just having a good time. So, I'll be back. Getting a close-up look at these cattails that the marsh is named for in this section. I'm definitely going to have to take a Zyrtec when I get back to the car, because they are going to wreak havoc on my breathing. The forbidden corn dog. side west. Don't mind if I do. Gonna walk down here. Watch my step, make sure I'm not stepping on any snakes. And I believe this water up here should be Hillebrand Bayou. And dragonflies are everywhere today. Y'all can see the falcons up there. Oh, a fish just jumped right over there. The fish are jumping out here. It's hard to focus on filming and then actually like hearing this stuff around you, and you want to make sure you're okay. The last thing I need is a gator coming up on me. Oh, fish just jumped right in front of me. It's really beautiful out here. Very peaceful. There's tons of fish right here. Too bad fishing's not allowed. It's moments like this that really have helped me relieve that stress. And being outdoors does it. It's like so peaceful out here. You just other than the fish that are jumping like crazy right now, which I don't know if y'all can hear, but like they're 2 feet away from me. But it's got to be some sizable fish too. They're just feeding like crazy. But it's a gorgeous day out here. Everyone I've passed has been like, isn't it so wonderful out here? I'm like, yes, absolutely. Because we're not dying in the oven that is Southeast Texas. But yep, this is about mile 3 on the trail. Oh, I don't know if y'all just saw the fish came absolutely out of the water. That's crazy. There's birds everywhere out here. And unfortunately, this is the best camera I have. It's way better suited for video, but my phone has an absolutely better zoom, so I will be breaking that out occasionally. Looks like something is swimming towards me, and I'm gonna assume it's a gator. I don't know if y'all can see it. It's like right behind me. Get my phone out and zoom in, make sure, because it's heading directly for me, and I'm gonna get out of here if it is a gator, so I'll check y'all later. And yep, that's a gator. He must have heard the fish jumping around like I did, but I think he saw me and he stopped moving this direction. Give me an idea about how far off he is. So I'm gonna give him some space and let him catch breakfast or whatever it is he's looking for and head back up on the trail. Kind of came up on a new looking area up here. And tons of birds. I don't know how well y'all can see them. The lighting's kind of weird. I think one of the interesting things about this trail is it's the marsh. It's a swamp. But each little section is kind of different, and so you can see different things. You know, you can see birds, you can see the gators. So, you know, it's definitely not strenuous in the way of like elevation gain or anything like that. But you just get to see different things, and that's fun. So anyways, it looks like the trail goes up around this way, and then it's going to loop back around those trees to the boardwalk where we started. And that's, the wind is getting pretty bad. You can see off in the distance, that's the visitor center where we came in at. So yeah, we're going to continue down the trail. So I know in a different part of the trail I had said that it seemed pretty accessible if you had mobility issues, but that definitely only stands for part of the trail. If you're doing the Blue Heron loop, this part, for example, probably not going to be as accessible as the gravel paths. This is kind of going between Hildebrandt Bayou over here and this reservoir of water on the other side, but it's not paved, and so in some areas you can kind of see behind me the gravel has completely disappeared, but like I said, it is a working area, so trucks do come through here. It's pretty solidly packed. It's not muddy, but I would imagine if we had a lot of rain leading up to this, you know, it could be kind of slippery, especially considering you're between two bodies of water. Coming up on 4 miles here. I'm at like 3.97, and so we're about to wrap up this hike, but so far it's been really fun. And you know, like I said, each little section has kind of different scenery and stuff to see, so it's not boring by any means, which I was kind of worried about going into it, and I was afraid that, you know, it would all just look the same, or like at the beginning you just see a lot of cattails and reeds, so I was like, well, if that's all you can see, that's not very exciting. But it does open up. It's kind of got different areas for you to look at and see. This current section, there's been a ton of birds and fish jumping and stuff, and I'm sure there's gators out here, I just haven't seen them yet. So, you know, more people are getting out here the later in the day that we get. So there's enough people for you to feel safe. I always carry some pepper spray and my whistle, and just to be safe, you know, being out here by yourself. But so far it's been enjoyable, and I will catch up with y'all if I see anything interesting or once we get to the end. I'm currently walking by this very vegetative area. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but something keeps getting startled and moving, and I'm hoping it's just the birds. I think the alligators would probably just go underwater or just be still. They don't startle like birds and other animals do. All I can think about is Lake Placid and how something about to pop out of there and come at me. So I'm gonna book it a little faster through this area. Y'all, I'm trying not to scare them. But look, I believe these are cinnamon teals, but I could be completely wrong. I'm not a bird person. And look at the little babies. And obviously, Mom and Dad aren't going to startle because they're protecting their babies. But look how gorgeous. They're beautiful birds. They're just being real still and quiet, sweet babies. And they got a little nest area. Oh, camera just fell. Right, yeah. I literally just got through filming a different little piece and having to look over, mostly because Mom and Dad weren't moving. I saw the nest. So one of the things I just thought about, that I thought somebody was coming up behind me. One of the things I just thought about, I think in the past I've seen on their website and Facebook page that I think they offered like bus tours of the marsh. And so if accessibility is an issue for you, that might be something you could look into or call them about, because I think that is something that they do, especially probably during like peak bird watching season. So that's something you could check out. But otherwise, I mean, God, this is not bad for Southeast Texas. I mean, if you've ever been here, we're pretty much known for our refineries and like shore fishing. Not a lot of options for hiking. So that's one of the reasons I decided to do this video. It's getting hot out here now. I don't have my, let me see. My guess is probably about 80 degrees now. 76. It's very humid outside today. Now that the breeze is gone, pretty much blocked by the Lake Placid vegetation over here on my left. But yeah, so I believe there's tours on the marsh that you can do. But like I said, if you're down for a hike, there's multiple trails you can take. You don't have to do the 5-mile outer loop, which is what I did today. But they're shorter ones, so you can do like just the 1 2 mile, depending on how you feel and what you're able to do. But you do get, I don't know if you can see all the birds coming up behind me. You get to see a lot of wildlife, tons of gators if that's something you're interested in. And I know during the peak seasons that bird watching is a big destination for that. So if you're in Southeast Texas, this is something to check out if you like the outdoors. Make sure you bring water. There are not water stations or anything like that available on the trail. And there's also not trash cans. Like I had brought some snacks, brought an apple, but I didn't put anything to put the apple core in once I finish it. So kind of chose not to go ahead and eat that because I didn't want to have to hold it all the way to the end. But we're about to wrap this trail up, give final thoughts, and then I'm going to find me a Red Bull. So see y'all around. All right, so that is the end of the trail. All right, 497 for mileage. So I'm gonna go stop it. It took me about an hour and a half. But yeah, it's a fun little hike. I definitely want to come back and do some of the interior trails, but had a great time. Like I said, it took me about 2 hours and a half to just take my time and see everything. And so if that's something you're interested in, come out and check it out. Definitely recommend.